Okay, today we're going to be ranking philosophies. Professional ranking philosophies. I'm not going to use the right abbreviations because I'm like that. I can. But you will understand what I mean. Philosophy of death. This is the one you will be facing at the start. It's the tip of the iceberg. And honestly, you think that after this you will understand everything and you will gain superpower. Then you understand it's either death is something horrible or death isn't something bad. And then it's really disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. There will be Epicurus saying that isn't something bad because the person dying doesn't feel anything. Then on the other side, you will have Thomas Nagel who will say, well, you can't say that because when a child dies, it's different than when a old lady dies. So you can't say that. Death has some sort of a takeaway from it. We all feel like, honestly, it's nothing that special. It's not that exciting. But then comes Montaigne and clutches everything up. He says that, we should always think of that. He mentions that Egyptians had dead people at dinner parties because they said, look at this dude. We ain't him, so we have to be happy. And you always have to think about death because it creates this urgency, which is good. And he also says, when you're at your deathbed and somebody says, I wish I had more time to live. And he says, buddy, if you didn't do something with your one lifetime, what do you think you will do? Why do you think you will do something in 2 lifetimes? So you're gone. So he clutches it up. I would be putting it at not so smiley facey, but I will put it in C tier just because of Montaigne. Then we have life's meaning philosophy. It's the same thing with the death philosophy. You think, now I will understand life. Finally, the doors, the heavens will open. But nothing like that happens. Either you think that life has meaning, life has no meaning, or you're religious, nothing that deep. And the only thing that really clutches it up, just like in the scenario with death philosophy, is Camus with his myth of Sisyphus. Sisyphus. Everybody has heard the myth of Sisyphus, but I will just monkey explain it real quick. Dude rolls ball up a hill, ball falls down. Dude continues this for eternity, but dude has to be happy. And it's simple as our lives. Why do we need to be happy? Because in this world where we really have no choice, we have one thing that we can choose, and it's our mindset, That's basically it. I think it's an interesting idea. So it will be going at the not so smiley face, but it's going in C tier. Then we have theology. Why is it here? It's not really philosophy, but it's here. Because, you know why? Because it's my channel. You should be facing this in your free time because you won't be facing it anywhere else. And it's very important for philosophy because half of the philosophers will be, half of things that you will be learning even, will be just Christianity, and you will have to understand things, but you won't be understanding them because you never read the Bible. So it's very beneficial to understand the perspective that every idea is coming from, and it's super deep rabbit hole, so which you won't be getting into if you don't get there on your own, start digging with your own trouble. And it's really underrated. It's like the alphabet, or the date. Everybody thinks that you should know which date is the number of, which September, October, November, which one is the right number for each season, basically what I'm saying. But if you don't learn it on your own, you ain't gonna learn it because nobody else is gonna explain it to you. They think that it's common sense, but it's not common sense that 8 is August. Like, alright, but anyways, as a philosophy paper in context, it has to go in 8 years. Anyways, the problem of evil, you don't expect it to be this deep of a rabbit hole, but it truly is. Basically, the question is, why does evil exist in a world where God, a loving God, is exist? And Poor Aquinas just goes at it, and he just gives up, and it's super interesting because I won't be explaining. Okay, I will explain it to you. Basically, he says evil as it is doesn't really exist as we understand it. Like a cancerous cell doesn't turn into a cancerous cell because it's bad. It turns into cancerous cell because it lacks good. It lacks health in it, the right thing, the thing that does. And the same thing happens when humans, they have free will. Moral evil happens when humans just go away from the good and you choose the bad. Then he comes to a question: why does will want to choose evil? Doesn't it mean that God created something that wants evil? And Aquinas can't answer it, and that's why he just reverts to the scriptures. Really interesting. And another thing about the problem of evil is basically that it's really interesting because Arendt says that the evil occurs because we don't think. You need to read the dude in the Jerusalem. I forgot. It's really interesting. Epistemology. Well. This is the thing that blows philosophy out of the bullying era by the scientists. Like, philosophy isn't a real science. Okay, buddy. And basically what happens is, how can we know that what we know is good? And first of all, they try to come to a foundation that is unshakable and then can be referred to more truth about this world, but they can't do that. And an example would be, at what degrees does like water boil? And you would say 100 degrees Celsius, and I would say go to the top of Everest and try to boil water, and you would say, well, it's not 100 degrees Celsius, and you would have to adjust everything, your theory that it doesn't boil at 100%, 100 Celsius, but when you get to the top, it boils at this and that and this and that. And then I would say, well, here's another thermometer that is more accurate than what you ever have before gotten, because I travel to the future and I have 100 years of knowledge before you. And you would say, oh, yeah, it's 100 and 0.0001 degrees Celsius. And yeah, I would say, well, just wait another 1,000 years and then take the same measurements again. That's basically what's happening here. And two dudes that go at this is Karl Popper, who says, well, we can't really come to a good knowledge, good foundations. We can only falsify things, falsify theory. We cannot come to the truth, and it's a big breakthrough. And then comes Kuhn, and he says, well, he says a lot of things. Dude, you need to read about Kuhn. He's a dude, And this is something that is just crazy. This is what you wanted the philosophy, the meaning of life's philosophy to be, This is what you expected, where you get blown out of the water and suddenly you see everything. You just look at science as it is and you say, well, we actually don't know anything. It's just a theory that we evolved from monkeys, We actually don't know anything. And, we don't know anything. And it's just crazy. Read Thomas Kuhn. Dude, just read. Then we have ethics. Well, everybody knows the trolley problem, but I would like you to think of another problem, solve another puzzle. Well, basically, cats are invaders of our land, and they kill our birds that were here first. They are invasive species. How will you solve the fact that cats eat our species that are discounted species? How you will solve this problem? How will you take care of this problem? Here, are you going to catch every cat and shoot it? I don't know, neutralize it and, cut off his genitalia, know what I'm trying to say. That's basically the thing that you have to accomplish. Well, I don't know, it's all right. It's It's like the apple. Oh, sometimes you can eat apples, but it has a little bit of kick to it. Metaphysics. It's interesting to think about God's existence and all that, but outside of, and it's interesting to speak about what color is this table, and you say it's brown, and I say no, this color, and I point at certain thing, and then the thing that I'm speaking about has already changed, so you don't know what color it is. Every time I say what is this and what is that, I point at something and you are already too late. You can't even answer it because it's happening right now, and I'm asking before that, and it's already a new color once you answer it. Yeah, that's something like that. But it's interesting, but at the same time it's truly not interesting. Like, yeah, but it's just definitions on top of definitions. It's alright. Language philosophy, yeah, this is going to on smiley face, like, do just definitions on top of definitions. You know, a bottle is a container. A container is actually something that contains is something that has something, can have something in it, and can something in it, you know. It's just, yeah, on smiley face. Goodbye. Antique philosophy. Well, dude, this will travel with you the rest of your life. When you look at a river, you know, there's this saying, everybody has heard of it. It's just Heracles against Parmen. Can a man step in a river twice is basically the question. Because he said, it's not the same man, it's not the same river. You know, you can't put your legs in the same river, and it's such a good idea, and you think about it, and you're like, yeah, that's right. And boom, then comes Parmenid, and he says, well, the fact that life changes all the time doesn't change. So nothing changes. Everything is just one whole big thing. And you're like, whoa. So which one is it? And you just don't know, and you will never know, probably. And this will follow you for the rest of your life. Like, are you looking at this thing as something that is one, or is it all connected? You know, it's just nuts. Yeah, I like it. Political philosophy. This is just like, oh, here we go to explaining why even we have rules, like, because we would go killing each other, and it's just so good. It's super good. Just so good ideas, Kant ideas, Locke ideas. It's just crazy to explain modern politics. I just like it. I just like it a lot, you know. And then there's this dude, Foucault. I don't know what's it called. I call it Foucault. You know, not Foucault. I'm not sure. But he says, well, look at our lives. Institutions have norms. They embed the norms in us, and after that, while we just cycle these norms in our heads, and we just follow them for no reason at all. Why don't I just start speaking about my personal life right now? Because it's not a norm, you know. You wouldn't be expected. Why wouldn't I just stop and not speak for 10 seconds? Because it's not a norm, but I will do it because I want to make you uncomfortable. Videos, but yeah. Anyways, and then you have Arendt, I think it was called Arendt, I'm not sure, who says that in politics we can't have the truth. People can't speak the truth. It's just nuts, dude. I would like to make a whole video about this. It's just freaking nuts. It's just 8 here, you know, it's 8 here. It's from Middle Ages to Renaissance. This is so good. You just don't understand what's even happening. But when your tutor is putting the pieces together and it just comes across so fine. So it's really nice. I won't be explaining anything else about it. Well, I will be explaining, of course. I will give you some context. Dude, the Middle Ages, everybody thinks I need the church. Everybody is together, and then you start to see through philosophy and through papers, a lot of papers, where people start recognizing that they are not, everybody is not one unity, and this individualism comes, and it's really interesting about a dude climbing up a hill and just noticing that he's climbing up a hill. Why is he doing so? And that symbolizes that he has this knowledge of self-reflection and looking at himself as a individual, not as a little city, where everybody knows everybody, and he's just part of this whole being. No, he's his own individual self. Dude, it's just interesting. I won't be explaining. It really doesn't need any explaining. A tier. Then we have semiotics. 90% is just dude trying to categorize signs. Where do I put the fact that the footprint is in the snow is a sign? How do I categorize it? But it's not that interesting. But the 10% where you just get your mind blown out of them like crazy. Turns out that marketing works because it activates your brain with myths and just something that you have in your mind. And once you learn this, you're just like watching a film and you just can't unsee the signs that it is saying to you, and you won't be watching a movie anymore. B tier.